Hello, anyone that's out there. Going to wait for our fellow host to join us. Hi. Hi, folks. Our live conversation with Jennifer E. Kwong, who is the designer of the Rigid Heddle Skill Builder collection for this term. So we're going to get Christine. Hi, Christine. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. So we're just going to wait for Jennifer to join us on here, and then we will get the conversation rolling. Awesome. And to anyone who's just joining us right now, we're just waiting for Jennifer E. Kwong to join us. We're going to talk about the Rigid Heddle Skill Builder collection, Pushing Plain Weave, that she designed, and talk a little bit about her design process and what she learned while designing these projects. So we're very excited to welcome her in. So thank you for your patience while we wait for her to join us. How are you, Christine?
I'm good. I'm going to ask, what is that behind you? It's really stunning.
This piece? I got it at the Rose Bowl Flea Market in California, and I think it's meant to be either just like a blanket or something, but I love it. I think it's so pretty. It's like a shibori dyed piece. It was just like a vendor there had a big pile of them. So
Very nice.
thank you.
Very
Love
nice.
it. Yes, so fun. Yes. All right, we'll wait another minute so Jennifer can join us.
This is a really fun box to work on with her. She's just got such an interesting brain on like how she kind of puts projects together and is so fascinated by the sampling process. And we met probably weekly for months, and every time we met, there was like a new PDF of different images of samples that she had done. It was really quite astounding, and just a lot of fun to work with her on this one. So, and
So gorgeous.
the
The color
projects came out
choices,
so beautifully.
they're so beautiful. And the photographs, if those of you watching who might not know, Christine here does all of the styling for all of our photo shoots. And I think these photographed so beautifully, it's hard to do. It's hard to capture the drape and get all the colors to look good. And these pictures I thought were so stunning.
Yeah, the inlay scarf in particular was that was that was fun to try to get because it was so subtle. The designs were so subtle on it. So, but
Nailed it
it
though.
worked.
It did work. You can really see it come through. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so beautiful.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all for your patience. If you're just joining us, we're waiting for Jennifer E. Kwong to join us for our conversation about her Rigid Heddle Skill Builder that she designed called Pushing Plain Weave. So we're going to be chatting with her about her design process for this box and in general, her weaving journey. So we're just waiting for her to join us, and we will dive right in to the conversation.
I'm just sending her an email right now.
Beautiful. Thank you. If anyone is watching that is in the Rigid Heddle Skill Builder, you can give us a little shout out in the comments if you've woven these projects or if you've woven other projects from the Skill Builder series previously. We'd love to know. We love seeing all of you post in the Facebook group. It's a true delight. So thank you all for doing that. Have you been weaving anything today, Christine?
I worked up a rigid heddle project, which is spoiler alert. Maybe not so much of a spoiler alert. I am we're reissuing a very popular project, but with some new colors, and more to come on that in the late fall, early winter, or yeah, probably late fall, early winter.
Exciting.
Yes, it's exciting.
I'm excited for fall. Start working with the fall fibers again, more wool in my life, pulling out all of the beautiful scarves and sweaters. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay, she's on her iPad, and I think that is the problem. Hold on one second.
I think I see her. Jennifer E. Kwong has joined, so let's see if
Okay,
I can send an invitation. Jennifer, I'm sending you an invitation now.
there she is. Okay.
Yeah,
Hi.
Sorry about that.
totally fine. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, just finishing up everything. Oh, perfect. Yay! Thanks for sending in your comments about what's woven from the skill builder so far. So fun to see. Amazing. So I will just give a little bit of an intro for everything that's going to go down today, and then I'll hand the conversation over to Christine and Jennifer. So I'm Anna. I'm the creative marketing manager here at GIST, and I will hosting the conversation while Christine stewards it. This is going to be a conversation between Christine Jablonski, who is our Director of Content and Customer Experience, and our guest of honor, Jennifer E. Kwong, who is the designer of the Pushing Plain Weave collection, which is our current Rigid Heddle Skill Builder subscription box collection. So as we've already said, thank you all so much to our Skill Builder subscribers who might be here today. And if you've been posting in the Facebook group, we'd love to see that so much. It's such a joy to see the projects actually come to life on your looms. And it's great to see you help each other out and ask questions. That is so fantastic. So thank you all for your participation. And the purpose of this live chat today is so you can interact with Jennifer a little bit more if you would like to, and ask her questions or shout out things that you've loved about the projects, and so that Jennifer can share a little bit more about her design process and things she learned while designing and weaving these projects. So just a couple housekeeping things. If you have questions, please send them into the comments and I'll be monitoring those. I can bring those into the conversation as we have time and as they fit in. So send your comments in. But if you do have specific technical questions about the patterns, please email us at hello@gistyarn.com. We want to make sure we give those really dedicated attention, and that is the best way that we will be able to do that for you. All right. So to start things off, I will introduce you to our guest of honor, Jennifer E. Kwong. Jennifer is a Canadian freelance illustrator. She loves weaving for its mix of math, color, pattern, folk art, and hands-on play. This collection grew from her love of sampling, and this collection was born from experiments, do-overs, and happy accidents. I love that. And then, of course, many of you know Christine Jablonski, our Director of Content and Customer Experience at GIST. She is responsible for nurturing GIST relationships with our current designers, like the wonderful Jennifer, and finding new ones that will bring you engaging content that are both fun to learn from and weave. In addition to her duties at Just Yarn, she is an exhibiting artist whose work has been shown in New England galleries and is held in private collections across the country. She's a contributor to Little Looms and Handwoven magazines, and she's the author of Soul Space Notes, a Substack column on weaving art and life. And now I will turn things over to Christine and Jennifer.
Thank you, Anna, and welcome, Jennifer. I feel like I talk to you frequently, but it's really lovely to have you here, and thanks for taking the time this afternoon to join us.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, and I love the rainbow of colors
Oh, thank you.
behind you. I think I probably recognize some of those, but so I think because we are all a curious lot, and or I am particularly curious about how you came to weaving. How did you scamper down the rabbit hole? What got you here?
Okay. Okay, actually, I just saw that my timer for Instagram is saying like we're gonna cut you off. So I'm gonna say no when it says cut me off, but
Okay.
if I go blank for a sec, that's what happened.
Okay.
Sorry. Um, okay, so where did how did I start weaving? Oh,
Yeah. How did
mm,
you come to weaving?
I it started with band weaving, mainly because it was fascinating, and but it was also low risk, low entry cost. So I did that, but I quickly kind of wanted to do more other things. As what happens with pretty much everybody
Hmm.
else, it escalates very quickly. Um,
Hmm.
so at the time, I was actually deep in my other hobby, which is Ukrainian eggs, pissenka,
Hmm.
and I was writing a book about it. And I thought well, I was a little bit procrastinating, as I do, and I thought, I haven't learned a new thing for a while, and what better way to remember how to explain something to a beginner than to like be a beginner yourself? This is my
Exactly.
excuse to buy a rigid heddle loom.
A good one.
So that's what I did, and then I accidentally got super sidetracked and turned into a weaver. So that's the story in a nutshell.
Did
I
you
did
finish the
the book though.
book?
So
You did finish the book.
yes, I did.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Yes, I often find myself, I'm calling it procrastinating. So when I'm really stuck on something, I dive into another project because why not? Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So, and it's not like I've got a shortage of yarn here. But anyway, but you have become an incredibly prolific weaver. I mean, you've probably, when I was looking at the list of designers that we've worked with in the past, you have 6 projects with us. Not including this particular box. And that's kind of the top of the list of like outside designers. I mean, Sarah and I have designed a lot, but you're kind of at the top of the list. But not only that, the 6 projects for us, Little Looms. You've been, I think, a cover girl twice on Little Looms. You've been on 2 covers.
Yes.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, and when I've looked at your projects, both ours and the ones that have been published in Little Looms, they dizzying array of techniques. And from color gradation to thick thin to inlay to classed weft and among other things. So when you're thinking about a project, whether it's just whether it's in response to a call, either like from us or Little Looms, or just for yourself, where do you start?
That's a good question. Okay, well, I guess where I start depends on if it's for me or for an assignment type of thing,
Hmm.
or like a call for submissions.
Hmm.
Um, but I I should mention that I went to school for industrial design, so that's my training. So that's like product design. So that we
Hmm.
got a sort of design process kind of drilled into us, and so it's not rocket science. It's basically like it's a lot like the scientific method, right? Like
Hmm.
you start, what's the goal or what's the problem we want to solve,
Hmm.
and then what are the constraints, and then you kind of do some research, you come up with some concepts, you try them out, and that is kind of a loop that keeps going until you assess what you made and see if it's good, and then you keep going till you're happy, and then you're done. But um, for weaving, it's a little bit, it's kind of that, but I rely heavily on samples, which is
That intermediate step, right?
very,
The iteration step. Hmm.
and I know a lot of people do not like sampling, and my goal today is actually to create some sampling fiends, sampling lovers, because I think it's such a valuable tool, and um, there's no way to learn faster than sample. I'm convinced there's no way to learn faster than with sampling, because if you try to learn project by
Uh-oh, we have frozen her.
Let's see if she comes back. She might have gotten kicked out by her Instagram timer. I think we've encountered this with one other designer. All of us trying to limit our social media for our
Right.
best of ourselves. We'll see if she returns, or perhaps we will re-welcome her into the conversation in a moment.
Mm. The unintended consequences.
Yes, exactly. This is how they keep us hooked on no timers for Instagram.
That's right.
All right, let's see. I wonder if I can remove and then re-add. I don't believe so. Thank you all for your patience as we check what's going on with Jennifer's connection.
Just emailing her right now to see if she can rejoin.
Thank you. And if you're just joining us, we are having a wonderful conversation with Jennifer E. Kwong, the designer of the Rigid Heddle Skill Builder collection, this series called Pushing Plain Weave. But we are just working through a small technical glitch, as happens on these platforms, and waiting for her to rejoin the conversation. So thank you for your patience.
Mm-hmm. So Anna, you've been with us a couple of years now. You have a rigid Heddle loom.
I do. It's right back here. It's warped. It has a warp on it.
And what is it going to be?
This is what my intention with this one was actually just to, it's all beam, it's 3-2 beam,
Mm-hmm.
just white. And then I was going to do some either decorative painting on it or do some like embroidery within it and then use it as like a table runner or like a little altar cloth like I have over here. So this was really just for me to learn the process of warping with one color.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that successfully, but I think I need something a little bit more challenging to keep me engaged because when it's one color, you're kind of just like going over and over again. So I need to finish it and then I want to put something else on. I honestly, this Jennifer's collection, I was like, I think I need to weave this one because I love it so much. And it feels like a good sort of introductory, pushing plain weave, a little introductory beyond plain weave. So that could be my next endeavor.
Yeah, I particularly like the cotton and alpaca scarf, the Odin beam scarf. I just thought that was stunning.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah. I am wondering if Instagram is not going to let her back in now.
Maybe we need to cancel out and then restart. Shall we try that?
Let's try it. Go
All right.
for it.
See you in a
Okay.
minute. All right, trying this again, folks. Getting another live queued up with Christine and Jennifer E. Kwong. Hi, folks.
I know she's trying to rejoin, so.
Perfect. Well, let's get her in here.
Mhm.
Wait for her request to come through. Hi from Quebec. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for being with us here today. We're just waiting for Jennifer E. Kwong to rejoin us. We're chatting with her about her Rigid Heddle Skill Builder collection, Pushing Plain Weave, but had a little technical glitch, so we're getting things re-queued up here. Thank you for your patience, everyone. We will wait for Jennifer to join back in with us. And she was chatting to us about her love of sampling, and I do think that a conversational theme across nearly every Rigid Heddle Skill Builder designer has been the importance of sampling. I feel that it's come up in every single conversation.
Yep, it certainly has. And I did not realize that Jennifer was an industrial engineer by training, I guess. And I knew was a freelancer, graphic artist, illustrator, and is very her other hobbies, as we've talked about them over the years. There's a through line about sort of pattern and order, which now it's all beginning to make sense as we've gotten to know her a little bit better. And let's see, it may take a second. She can't see the live pulsing, but can you see her?
I do not see her as a viewer yet, so I can't add her as a member to join us. Maybe she might need to refresh our Instagram page for it to show up. I'm wondering. Oh, there she is.
Okay, good.
Beautiful. All right. Sending her an invitation. We'll see if.
Hi.
Hello. I'm so sorry.
That is
I
okay.
took the opportunity to turn off the timer.
You're more
while I was-
disciplined than the rest of us. I sort of doom scroll and I get sucked in and I really shouldn't. And so I applaud your
Well, just because there's a timer doesn't mean I actually
Okay,
always follow
good to know. Good
it.
to know. Let's see. So we were kind of in the midst of like your the iterative part of your design process. I mean, you sort of borrowed your I guess your design process a little bit from your industrial engineering background, sort of, concepting out, researching, trying things, trying again, iterating. And so we were in the sampling part of the discussion when you Instagram decided we weren't going to talk anymore. So if we could try to pick up there, and I guess your love of sampling and really what you were hoping to impart. I think that was
Right.
part of what you were hoping to impart
Thank
with this
you.
box.
Yes. So I was thinking a lot about why do people not like sampling and why do I like sampling? And I think what it is, and I know we're getting off track because we're talking about design process, but this is
Okay.
related.
Mhm.
um, if you have the mindset when you get into sampling, if your sampling situation is in the mindset of, oh, this better be right because I this yarn's expensive. What a pain in the butt. I just want to get weaving. I just want to weave this thing. Then yeah, that's not fun, right? Like nobody like that's not fun. And because like at best, I think you'll have your um idea confirmed, but at worst, like it could be a horrible idea and then you're stuck with this whole warped loom for this project you thought was going to be great, blah, blah, blah. So my mindset is to sample with in the spirit of play and discovery with no low stakes, no stakes actually, because
Mhm.
I actually sample as a hobby. So instead of getting to the point where I'm like, ooh, this better work, I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. Let's put on 2 yards, just narrow, like 6 or 8 inches, and just mess around. And one of the hardest things is like deciding what that warp will be because that's it kind of matters, but in the end, it really doesn't. So just put anything on and try to make some stupid stuff. Like, the stupider the better. Like, just grab things that don't seem right. and and try that. And usually, if I have a 2 yard warp on there just for sampling, I will cut off things before I'm done the warp because I want to see what happens after the wet finishing.
Mhm.
And often that will inform, oh, that's neat. Looks a little too loose. Maybe I'll try, maybe I'll reslay it before I keep going with the samples, or maybe I will try as finer weft or something like that. So I know that's kind of seems wasteful, but honestly, it's not because I feel like every sample will teach you something. Like,
Mhm.
oh, that's what I was talking about earlier, is that if you wait to learn by just per project on a per project basis, your learning is spread out. Like you might only have like 3 learning opportunities in like 4 months. But if you're just like doing it nonstop, if you have a project, put on some extra, like a known project, for instance, like if you're following a pattern and you have extra yarn, add on some to the warp so when you're done with your project, you can mess around with it. And soon you will have a big pile of weaving information, really, that is like
Mhm.
you can't learn it from a book, right? Like
Mhm.
you want to be able to touch it, feel it, you want to see what the drape is like, you want to see if it's soft or not or whatever. So each of those sampling opportunities gets you a little bit more knowledgeable. Like I'm a new weaver. I started in 2020. So like anyone can do this if you have that sampling mindset. Um, okay, I think I'm starting to just blather on now.
That
So
no, that's okay. I was. Do you? Well, what two things I wanted to ask. So the short question is, do you like then catalog your samples? Like, do you keep a library and notes on them? That's the first question. And the okay, that's a no, and that's fine. Because I'm really bad at that too. but if you want to expand on that, great. The other question I want to have, or what I had to ask before I forget, is that the comment you made about like, oh, these are things that don't go together, and that was actually one of the themes that kind of came out of our conversations about this box. I think especially around the opposites attract scarf, like cotton and alpaca. We weren't thinking we're going to work together, but God, it is an incredible scarf.
Thank
Um,
you.
so actually, if you do want to answer the cataloging question, great, and if not, that's fine.
Actually, okay, so I started out not
Uh-huh.
taking notes because like this is so dumb. It's so dumb. I thought I'd remember what the yarns were and like what I. Are you kidding me? Like now, like some I look at samples sometimes. I'm like, I don't even remember making this. So, so
Huh.
yeah, no. Don't do that. If you're starting to sample like as of today, totally recommend it. There's a certain amount of documentation that will suck the fun out of it. So if that is like standing in the way, then don't do it. But it is useful to take all the measurements like width of the reed, um, length under tension, width on the loom, width off the
Mhm.
loom before washing, width after. But like, it's not really fun to do that. So I kind of don't. Like, I generally I have two kinds of sampling. So I have the fun discovery, no goals, low stakes kind, and then the kind where I'm making the project for the first time at full scale because when you do like 6-inch samples, it's a great um, kind of accurate sample, but if you're making something a lot wider, I'm sure you've discovered this,
Samples
where
lie. Samples lie. They
the
do.
drawing is different
Mhm.
and the hand is different, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
generally when I'm ready to do a project and I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing, I'll do the boring sample before that project on the same warp as the project itself.
Mhm.
But that's
Mhm.
the only time that I do the boring time kind of sampling is when I'm like 99% sure that I'm pretty much there, just to confirm things.
Yep.
But yeah, if I kind of take notes now, I take a lot of pictures. That's helpful because that's easy and I don't have to like write stuff down and
Yep.
be organized. So that's yeah, I mean I would like to be cataloging more. I just haven't found a way to like I'm just not into documenting stuff, right? So yeah.
I don't blame you. I get it. I think we've all been there. Um, so like I was telling people during while we were during the hiatus there, that you and I spent months sort of talking about this box, and there were many, many, many iterations. And I remember felt like every month we met, there was like a new PDF of new samples and things to discuss, and we would sort of whittle it down to like, okay, really like this part of this one and like this part of this one, and let's see what we can do. Do you actually have any of the samples that you
I
had?
do.
Oh,
I
you do.
do. They're all do you want sorry, was that part of the question? Like
It was in that I kind of was, curious as to, if we sort of bring the idea of like, where do you start with a
okay.
project? We had a whole collection that we were trying to kind of like wrangle, into some sort of or a bunch of concepts that we're trying to wrangle into some sort of order and collection. So bringing it back to this collection specifically, like where did you start? And it would be, I think, great if you could maybe share some of the
Yeah,
visuals of some of the other projects that you worked or the
sure.
other samples you worked on.
Okay. Well, it's kind of funny because I was going through the samples from the subscription, this box, and like, this is how the wallflower scarf started.
Yeah.
Like, it looks nothing like, because it's not. It was actually just me messing around. I, because I've done a lot of projects with you guys, I'm familiar with most of the line, but I hadn't used Sero yet.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, and so I thought, I'll try something out here. Uh, Obviously, these are not colors I would ever use. This was just
Yeah.
this is purely for judging hand, and the structure of it. So I actually did. I was just moving along here. Wanted something kind of maybe. I was thinking, oh, it'd be nice to do something open,
Hmm.
but and not sleazy. How can I do that? Then I thought about lino lace, because that's like how gauze is made. And so you can't really see it on this sample without the light shining through, but it's I made like a checkerboard of
That's right. I
lino,
remember.
and basket weave.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, oh, that's kind of neat, but it doesn't really show. Like, it's like only the wearer or the weaver would know that that's going on. It just wasn't pronounced enough,
Right.
but it was
Right.
something that I thought would be nice. So I thought, let's try some different yarns. So this is like the next sample on the same warp, as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that it's a little more obvious on this one
Yep.
because I was thinking about the properties of the different yarns, and duet is very what's the word? Not rigid, but wiry.
It's
Like it's not as drapey.
right.
It's more willing to not give it in to the other yarns, if you
Mm-hmm.
will.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, oh, I like what that's doing. It's naturally keeping this open without getting sleazy. It's really interesting. So then I thought, maybe I'll try messing around some more, but I didn't want to put a warp on. So one of the other sampling uh, things I use is these uh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
from Pearl and Loop.
Mm-hmm.
Made those. I wish I had a 10 dent, but they didn't have them anymore. So anyway, I got an 8 and a 12. And so I started making some on those. And I think I like how super low stakes that is. Like, you're not wasting really much yarn at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to, oh yeah, I put these on these samples, which is mallow, warp, and duet weft. And here, get ready for this. Ah,
Ooh,
so
nice.
then I was like, okay, we're on to
We're onto
something.
something.
And so Christina and I talked a lot about like what should the inlay, this is, sorry, I should have clarified. It's a mallow warp duet weft with mallow inlay.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that the inlay doesn't displace the weft because it's so open. It just fills in the holes. It doesn't like make things all distorted.
Mm-hmm.
So we continued on with that theme, and I really wanted people to just do their own thing. But I know there's people that want to be told what to do or don't feel confident doing their own thing. So I came up with something that was a fun little motif, which you can see better here.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it in white just so people can see
Yep.
what's going on. And we settled on that and just kind of sprinkling this motif around. And I hope someone will try building their own motifs or design because it's a very versatile pattern. You can really
Mm-hmm.
put the inlay in anywhere you want. So
Yeah.
that was it for that one, I think. The Some of the stuff that we didn't end up using is actually may become something in the future. This was a Sero and Ode plaid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can see that this is where I kind of caught on to this double weft of Ode doing something interesting, and I said, okay, I'll keep that in my back pocket, and that ended up in the final scarf of that project.
Right.
Now I had done when Ode was a new yarn,
Mm-hmm.
I got to do patterns for the first like Ode release, right? So I back then I sampled a lot. And and it's so funny because alpaca is just so different from wool. Like I
Yeah.
kind of always just assumed they'd be kind of the same, but they are so not, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I still had some memory of what it was like working with Ode when I started working on this box. And I knew that I wanted to sort of pick up where I left off last time. And like this is weird. This this
It's
is
fabulous. It's
it's
fabulously
a
weird. Yeah.
it's a duet warp with some weird like Spanish lace and other stuff in alpaca. And I
Hmm.
was like, huh, I kind of like this mix of like animal vegetable stuff. And that was the seed for this sample,
Right.
which is 8-2 cotton and alpaca weft.
Yeah.
And then it was this part here that was like, wow, what's going on there? It looks almost like, I don't know, monk's belt or something. So then came a warp of 8-2 where I thought, okay, well, I didn't know Dwella either. Dwella was not even available yet when we
Right.
started this.
Right.
So I did some tries here. These are just, all of this is just plain weave. Like I actually, that was part of one of the requirements or um, what do you call it? Constraints that
Constraints. Yep.
that I imposed on myself for this box was I wanted it to be just plain weave, like nothing, no double heddles or anything like that. Just like I wanted to see if we could. I wanted to create a plain weave collection that could not have been created without a ton of sampling, basically, right? That was kind of the goal. So then this happened, and it was like, okay,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think we have a winner.
Yep.
So that was that. Um, yeah, so the pile for that, this is the samples for just that alpaca scarf. And we've got samples that never made it to anywhere. They ended up on the cutting room floor, if you will. You remember this one?
I do. I love this one, but we had a hard time figuring
We're
out
like,
like what to
what are
do
we
with
gonna
it.
do with that?
I
I don't
loved
know.
that one. I loved
It's
it.
this one is Array Warp
Mm-hmm.
and Dwella
Yeah.
um inlay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just some that are just like this one. I knew this was going to be weird, and it's not anything to look at. But this is a Array Warp with Sero Weft.
Yeah.
Um, there's no reason anyone should ever do this, but I learned that it's it's
Now you
not good.
know, and now you never have to do it again,
That's
right?
right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Exactly. So I don't really think too hard. I just kind of
Yeah.
um and the funny thing is I'm a super overthinker. I can get an analysis paralysis, and it can be daunting and depressed. Like when you want to weave, but you don't know what you want to
To do.
weave, and
Yeah.
and then you just go like just because it's overwhelming, and then you just end up doing nothing, and then you feel crappy. So anytime you feel like that, put on a warp. Doesn't matter, just how. It doesn't matter what yarn you have. Put on any warp and just start making stuff. And I'm not like a person who is I don't know what the word is. I don't I'm not like a free and wild creative. Like I am a creative, but I'm not like when there's too many possibilities, I don't get excited. I get
Mhm.
scared. So even though these look like they're all very wild, different ideas, it's just something as you're working, more ideas come. And that's the part that I have to remember. It's like, don't wait for the ideas first, just start
Yeah.
and the ideas will come. So that's how I do those. Yeah, this is more array stuff. Oh, at one point we were going to felt. Do you remember when we were
We were going to try to felt it, and we really had a hard time with that.
I
Yes.
actually did. I felt
A
it
little bit.
pretty good, but then I was
It's
like, what? what are we going to do with this? I don't know.
Right.
But it might become something someday.
Someday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
It's so interesting because this is like when I was doing a lot of creative writing, and there's this whole like, oh, the blanks, the blank piece of paper, the blank screen. Well, I'm going to wait for my muse to show up. I'm going to wait for inspiration to strike. No, it doesn't work that way. It's actually because it's a habit. You just have to do it and do it and do it and do it. And when you're doing it, to your point, new ideas come. And so I think that's just a really lovely and beautiful lesson.
yeah, I agree. Agree. So, and if that does, I mean, it's another good um reason to sample just because it's it
Yeah.
will get the creative juices flowing.
I
This is
remember,
still,
I loved that piece because I loved the backside of that piece because
yeah,
it
me
looked so
too. We were
different.
gonna do, so back to that mindset about sampling. Do you know the story of Post-its, how they were invented?
Not,
No.
I mean, vaguely, but not
Like
really.
it's basically some guy made some glue and it sucked.
Right.
And instead of just being like, "Oh, this glue sucks," he was like, "Huh,
I could use that somehow.
exactly, exactly." So that's kind of the sample, like that's kind of the way to work with sampling if you're doing it in the with the fun mindset, the fun discovery mindset is it may not be like useful for, this would make a terrible napkin, right? But
Right.
but it could be a really cool, I don't know, wall
It
hanging.
could,
You could make a design with these whatever you call it, float
yeah,
patterns and
it
stuff, right?
could be an embellishment for a pillow.
Exactly. So there is no bad fabric. There's no failures of samples. They all tell you something and they all have a place. If anything, what not to do. That's also good, right? I mean, you need to know. So these were the ones I'm showing you right now are the samples that would eventually lead to the mug rugs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and now the other thing is, I think I was normally, if something is feeling like, ugh, it's not what I wanted, you might stop weaving after a couple picks. But for these ones, at this point when I was on this warp, I knew what kind of thickness and texture I wanted. So I was making full, like 6 by 6 inches so that I could evaluate the feeling of it after.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, yeah. So
And those in and of themselves then become your mug rugs. Yeah. Very cool.
yeah, so and then this is the final. That was the final. As you can see, it's closer to.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer
Yeah,
to the final
yeah,
project. Yeah.
exactly. That's it. And there, that part, that little part.
Yep. There we go. Well, that was a fantastic snapshot into your creative mindset, your brain, your process, and I feel like it everything that you created with this box, it all kind of coalesced. I mean, all of those lessons, like I said, your mindset, your process, your practice, all of that just coalesced so beautifully with these projects. And I'm so grateful to have been able to publish this and really love working with you. And
It's super fun.
it's just really fun. It's really really fun to kind of see how designers speak about their work and and how they get there because everybody comes at it from a different place. So it's very cool. And thank you so much. I want to close with a lightning round. First thing that comes to your mind: tea or coffee?
Oh, coffee.
Okay. Sweet or savory?
You know, it was always salty for my whole life, and then one day, I don't know what happened. Still salty if I have to choose one, but I'm bilingual.
I split the difference and go with caramel because it is sweet and salty.
Or
So,
like Reese's cups.
yeah, it's like salted caramel, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Favorite loom?
They're all here and they can hear me.
I know.
Okay, it's funny. Oh, why are you making me choose? I probably that's a tough one because I don't have like a okay, like if it was like I had to choose one now and I'd never ever it would probably be my Louette Erica, the four shaft.
Yep.
Only because I can do plain weave on it as well. Like it would have the versatility, but the one that gets the most use is probably my rigid heddle.
Yeah.
Just because I'm lazy for setting it up. Like it's just faster and very little loom waste. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Perfect. And last question, what's your desert island weave? Whether it be structure or pattern, anything like that.
Well, I guess after today's talk, I'm gonna have to say
Say
plain weave.
sampling. Flame weave and sampling. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, great. I think we've talked for quite, we've had a lengthy and very meandering chat, and this is just
Okay.
really fantastic. And for the rest of you out there, um, so Jennifer's got this box currently, which we are shipping. I believe it is, Anna, is it open? Is it open for new subscribers?
Yes, there's still limited spots, but it's closing in on its
Shortly.
number. So if you're still interested, get in there.
And we also have half a dozen projects by Jennifer on our website, individual projects that are just lovely and gorgeous. And if you go to our pattern page, you can actually sort by designer and you can find her, and like all of her projects will pop up on one page. And it's a lovely, lovely little visual. So that's it for here. Jennifer, thank you so much. And any closing remarks, Anne? Are we good? Any questions? Anything else we should field?
No questions, just to thank you for bringing up the Post-its analogy when it comes to sampling, and folks are feeling inspired by that. That is inspiring. That's such a great way to think about it.
Yeah.
Perspective shift. So thank you so much, Jennifer. This was so wonderful. Your samples are amazing. I could watch you do that for like another 45 minutes.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry about all that technical.
No worries.
problem.
No
All right.
worries.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Fun for joining.
Bye.
Bye.